This episode is brought to you by 1010. 1010 is an exclusive collection of 10 one-of-a-kind engagement rings, designed by 10 of the most distinctive designers working today. Using only diamonds responsibly and sustainably sourced from Botswana, 10 design masters have each produced a uniquely beautiful diamond ring, launching exclusively on January 18th at BlueNile.com. This exciting limited edition collection of diamond engagement rings launches on January 18th, and you can preview it exclusively at BlueNile.com. This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 858, Escaping from the Prison of Shame by Vironika Tugaleva of Vironika.org. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? I am your host, Greg Audino, welcoming you to this Christmas Eve episode of ORD. I'm sure you've all got plenty on your plates right now, so if you are making the time to listen to this one in real time, we highly appreciate it, and I promise you, it won't disappoint. One of our regulars, Vironika Tugaleva, is back today with a post about self-shame and how we can escape it. For some, it might be a prison that feels new. For others, it is no stranger. Either way, Vironika has some tools to help you. So let's hear what she has for us and start optimizing your life. Escaping from the Prison of Shame by Vironika Tugaleva of Vironika.org. Quote, "Shame isn't a quiet gray cloud. Shame is a drowning man who claws his way on top of you, scratching and tearing your skin, pushing you under the surface." End quote. That's by Kirsty Eager. The other day, a friend opened up to me about her insecurities. In our intimate conversation, I offered her my understanding. The world of shame is one I've known well. After sharing a few stories with her, she looked into my eyes deeply, hers full of a mixture of sadness, surprise, and relief. She said, "I'm surprised you say all this. I just always thought of you as having zero self-esteem issues. I thought you'd always had self-confidence." In between those lines, I heard the words she didn't say. I thought I was alone. In my journey of learning about self-acceptance and unconditional love, I've learned that the world, our world, is teetering on the brink of lunacy. So many of us are walking around hating ourselves. We think we're alone because our stories are different, because I hate my thighs, you hate the way your lips move when you speak, and he hates his inability to speak with confidence when he wants to. We all walk around playing these virtual reality games in our minds. We exist in a world of what we think are other people, but they're really just pawns in our delusional representation of reality. I've lived in that world, and I bet you have too. Shame is a prison in all our minds. This world is much like the famous line from Hotel California that gently reminds us, you can check out at any time you like, but you can never leave. The world of shame is a shield that lies in the corner, always ready to be picked up on our first shred of fear. And when we pick it up, we enter that world. It's the world of staring at yourself in the mirror and feeling disgust. It's the world of sitting there paralyzed, going over your actions from a previous moment and wishing for another chance to not be so stupid, so cowardly, so not like the perfect person you desire yourself to be. It's a world of jealousy, resentment, and self-destruction. If I was in some other unpleasant state, like a stomach ache, I'd tell everyone around me. I know it would probably affect my behavior, my mood, my aura. I'd have no problem sharing this fact with my loved ones, my coworkers, or even strangers on the street. Here we come to a strange and disappointing fact. We are much more willing to communicate about our physical experiences of discomfort than our emotional ones, our mental ones, our spiritual ones. The reason lies in this simple truth. When I have a stomach ache, I know it will go away. I also know it has nothing to do with my authentic self. When I hate myself, however, I don't know that it will go away. I begin to function as a different person in a different reality. My perception of myself and the world completely changes. I believe all of those lies I tell myself about how I'm not good enough. I go for the ride. What my friend sees of me and what you see of me is the part that continues to open over and over. I know I am pure love. I know that unconditional love is reality. I know that when I let go, I swim in bliss. I know that's always waiting for me. That doesn't change the fact, however, that I get closed off all the time. It's a worldwide phenomenon. It's a disease. It's a disease of people silently hating themselves or silently wishing to be different. I lived in that world for most of my life, the world where I wasn't good enough and people were cruel. I see people every day who still live in that world. Sometimes I take a head-first visit, triggered by some environmental thing that my emotions from the past are intimately tied to. It's a place we've all been. It's a place we've watched ourselves go and watched others go. When you watch someone else descending into shameful chaos, you can be more reasonable about what's really going on. Obviously, the person across from you isn't any uglier, stupider, or less competent right now than they were yesterday when they felt good about themselves. You, as the observer, see that your conversation partner is just going for a ride into a world of delusions. When it happens to us, however, it's much more difficult to stop. We take every thought and embrace it as the truth. Unconditional love and spiritual truth is still there, waiting for us to accept it as our reality, but our thoughts of shame and separation form a tight shield against reality. Without love, we starve. We begin to act like fish out of water, struggling against our starvation. And this isn't occasional. For some people, like my former self, inner battle is a constant, never-ending reality. These people have never tasted the truth about themselves. They have only ever felt shame, fear, and anger. I think we can start dealing with this viral, consuming disease of shame by removing the illusion that it's not happening to everyone. It happens to everyone, until it doesn't. Until they make a purposeful effort to begin perceiving themselves another way. We must accept that it's not our fault we've been conditioned into shame. Then, we need to talk about it. Take a vow today. Do it with me because I need it as much as you do. Take a vow to speak openly about these delusional experiences, these trips into the world of pain and suffering, these self-hating, people-judging moments of insanity. Even once, just today. Take a look at all the drowning people around you. Grab a hand and swim up to the surface as hard as you can. Be authentic, be brave, and most importantly, just be yourself. Love yourself, flaws and all. That is how we can change the world, one moment of vulnerability at a time. You just listened to the post titled, Escaping from the Prison of Shame by Vironika Tugaleva of Vironika.org. As we can see from how Veronika's friend opened up to her about her feelings of shame, establishing good, vulnerable communication is an essential part throughout the whole journey. And likewise, establishing a healthy communication with yourself is essential for your mental health. And when you do feel like you've hit a roadblock, BetterHelp is here for you. BetterHelp will get your needs assessed and help match you with a personal licensed professional therapist. They provide a safe and private environment for you to communicate with your therapist within 24 hours, plus giving you the flexibility of scheduling weekly video or phone sessions. Their financial aid makes it more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and you can schedule an appointment online at your own convenience. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. BetterHelp is not self-help, it is professional counseling where everything you share is confidential. Guys, I want you to start living a happier life today, and as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/ORD. Join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ORD. And thanks a lot to Vironika for letting us read this one. I really enjoy the distinction she made between physical and emotional pain, how we're much more comfortable sharing physical pain because we know of its impermanence, and we know others go through it because we can see it and they express it. Not the case with emotional pain. But her words ring true and clear. Emotional pain is also shared by everyone and is also fleeting, like all things. Of course, we all know that it can stick around for quite some time, but that's usually because we don't put it through the same kind of rehab as we would a physical injury. The rehab for emotional pain lies in communication and acceptance, just like we saw between Vironika and her friend. We are better equipped to heal these wounds when we share them and work out that muscle, if you will. In doing so, we are reminded of the fact that they come and go, and that we have many people who still love us just the same when they know that we have those bad feelings. One thing I try to do if I'm in a sour mood is be quite open about it and sort of laugh. I allow myself to feel it, but in the way I present it to others, usually by saying, "Don't mind me, I'm just being a poopy pants right now, I'll get over it," or something along those lines. It's relayed in a way that reminds all parties, myself included, that these feelings are a bit silly and not to be taken too seriously. Now, surely this is different from feelings of deep despair or shame, but they too are constantly in motion. And while it may be hard and not really all that necessary to acknowledge that with the same tongue-in-cheek demeanor, we can know within ourselves that it too shall pass. And on that note, we are going to wrap this up, but we'll be back tomorrow on Christmas Eve after opening one present, of course, as is tradition. So if you like this one, come on back for the beginning of a two-parter from Jay and Heather Harrington tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.